Let's get a little more on this and speak to our correspondent Fidelis Mbah, who joins us in the studio. Fidelis, good to see you. Now, we know Al-Shabaab frequently attacks Kenya because of its presence in the African Union and in how it's involved in terms of the fight against Al-Shabaab in Somalia. How worried will authorities be about this particular attack?
Well, this attack is something that should worry not just Kenya, but all the countries in East Africa, because before now, for some months, Al-Shabaab attacks have been largely restricted to Somalia. But right now, they've had a couple of unsuccessful attempts in Kenya trying to launch attacks across border, which they didn't succeed. And now that they've succeeded in carrying out this, they're going to more like try to consolidate on that, because they have a new leader who was elected after their former leader was killed 2 years ago by a U.S. drone attack. So now with this success recorded by the group, they want to the new leader want to more like put his foot down to actually make a statement that he's here to actually consolidate on the gains that they've made over the years, and also to give the impression that they are not a group that is actually being wiped out like had been previously reported. So not just Kenya, all the bordering countries bordering Somalia, and not even beyond the borders of Somalia, should be really worried, because Al-Shabaab has reportedly now has maintained safe havens in countries like Djibouti, Tanzania, Uganda, Ethiopia, and Kenya. So it's not something just restricted to Kenya at the moment.
So tell us how big they are, because there has been such a focus on getting rid of Al-Shabaab by the African Union forces and others. But we have seen an escalation in attacks also in Somalia by Al-Shabaab. So in terms of their strength, is it growing?
Well, recently, the U.S. has stepped up attacks, drone strikes on Al-Shabaab, and especially its leadership. In recent months, about 200 fighters of Al-Shabaab have been killed, including some senior figures of the group. So what they've done is trying to change tactics. Not like, they've also tried to recruit people across, the countries I mentioned before, which is Djibouti, Ethiopia, Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. Because before now, it was more of their presence was more just in Kenya and Somalia. But now they're expanding their cell. They're also trying to get more recruits, especially young people. They've also been using female couriers who actually more like help them in terms of passing out information, and sometimes, allegedly helping also to carry arms across borders. So they're expanding their cells. They're changing tactics. And then, because the drone attacks in Somalia is further pushing them away from where they controlled, because their control base was where the U.S. have been targeting. And also what's been helping them in terms of trying to also expand is because recently they've been sort of lax in terms of security, because some African Union troops have been pulled out. Uganda has pulled out some. Kenya has. Ethiopia has recently. So the strength of the African Union has further, more like been a bit, the force has been depleted. So it's giving them that leverage to be able to more like have more grounds to be able to cover. And then also the fact that elections are coming very soon. They've been stepping attacks in Somalia to disrupt the forthcoming elections.
Okay, Fidelis, many thanks for talking us through all that. Fidelis Mbah there for us.